What's the anatomy of a forever metal roof? Behind me, I've got an example of a demo roof that we've built to kind of show you guys and to educate you on what it is we do and how a metal roof should be installed. So this area right here, this mimics your attic space. And you've got your roof rafters right here, and then you've got your existing OSB decking. Depending on the age of the house, you might have some old plywood or some thinner plywood. And then right here, from the side view, you can see that we've got a piece of underlayment here. Most all metal roofs are going to get installed with that existing one layer of shingles on there. We never recommend tearing off. You're not going to gain anything from tearing off. In fact, you're going to gain by keeping the shingle some thermal insulation and some sound insulation. And you're going to save yourself on some of the tear off cost and the disposal cost. So you're going to have likely a shingle right on top of this decking. And then you're going to see what we do. We're going to put down a full synthetic breathable underlayment that qualifies as both a moisture barrier and a vapor barrier from when that shingle actually outgasses. When it gets hot, it'll pull that to the top. Then depending on the shape of your decking, whether it's got some dips or if it's some areas where we don't feel like the screw is going to bite tight enough for us to maintain our wind warranty, we will use what's called a furring strip, is what we call a furring strip. Some people call it a purlin, but it's a 1x4 piece of wood. Another thing, there's some misinformation going out there in the industry. A lot of people say that they use treated lumber. You never want to use treated lumber under your metal roof. The metal touching the treated lumber has copper inside of it. It'll immediately start to cause corrosion on the panel. So never allow anyone to put treated lumber on there. Just a 1x4 is perfectly fine, untreated lumber, and that screw will seal and do what it's supposed to do, and it will not leak. But right here, so you have that purlin, and then you would have what's next would be the panel. That's the first thing that goes is the panel. So you lay your panel down, you screw every 2 feet, and then down here along the bottom, you have what's called a eave closure. They call the eave, that's basically where the gutters get installed. But you can see this closure, it's machined out to match the shape of the inside of the panel. What does this do? This keeps any bees, birds' nests from being able to be put up there. A lot of people have had a metal roof installed and these small accessories are forgotten about or skimped on, and then the homeowner becomes upset because a bird will get up there and make a bunch of noise, or bats or bees. So you want to have that part there. The next thing is you've got your valley pan. So that's another thing. A lot of shingles are made, there is no pan. Most shingle roofs aren't going to have a valley pan installed. They're going to have either a cross woven, a closed valley or whatnot. Big trouble area, one of the main areas that leak the most. So right here you've got one piece fabricated valley pan, and that's where we put this piece right here. You're probably wondering what it is. It's an expanding foam closure. So this panel, when it runs down here, we lay this strip of expanding foam, and it'll be all compressed at that time. We lay that piece of panel down and we fasten it, and then it will expand, and it will keep that panel from having any driven rain or any, say in the winter time when there is snow resting here and melting and freezing and melting and freezing. It can't get in and make its way over and cause a potential leak. So then over here, you've got your trim. This is what is a piece of trim. It's called a rake trim. So your rake is the gable side. If you remember when we started over on that side, you had the panel that I pulled up. This closes that off so that there's no way that anything can get out there, and it makes it look much better. So you've got this, it's closed off down here, same thing, no bees, no birds, no critters. That runs all the way up, and then about 4 to 6 inches down on your fascia board. And we do make specialty rake trim based off the type of fascia board that you own. Some people will have like some molding on a more historic home. We can make the changes to the trim as needed. Right here, if you get a little closer up here, you can see this is to mimic either a chimney or a skylight. And then we have a flashing that runs up under the panel and then onto the chimney. And it's all cut, and you can tell that this takes incredible skill and craftsmanship. And then last but not least, we always cut in a vent into the ridge because we want this to save you some money, and we need that attic space to breathe. You need intake ventilation and exhaust ventilation. So with this exhaust ventilation, right here, we put a premium piece of ridge vent closure down. Now, some other contractors aren't even going to use this at all, and if they do use something like this, it's all just one foam piece, and that foam is really susceptible to rot. So this right here has this particular foam here, and then this is like a wire brush material, or like a Brillo pad if you're familiar. It will allow for air movement, but it will also restrict, again, the bees, the birds, the critters, the driven rain, things like that. So all of these little pieces that we show you are vitally important when you're actually getting a quote and having a metal roof installed. When you have a metal roof installed, you want it to do a few things. You want to never have to replace it again. You want it to save you some money on your energy costs, and you want it to look beautiful forever. If you want a forever metal roof, you have to use the parts and pieces that I explained. Thank you for your time.